Introducing Authentic Realness.
Hello, and hello again. Aaron R. Plush here, and this is the start of episode number 1 of Authentic Realness. And as I think about this journey, my life, corporate experiences, all that have led to this culminating moment of the launch of this podcast, it's quite a journey. A career spanning a little over 20 years, and yes, I'm only 21, that has afforded me the opportunity to travel the globe, that has extensively shaped the young Black boy from Orangeburg, South Carolina, to be someone who has likely outlived the wildest imagination of his ancestors and predecessors. And with that, I have to start with thanking God for the journey that he's allowed me to be on. How excited I am to share this journey with you all. How excited I am to be on a path of being able to talk from an authentic realness perspective.
Realness.
And that's what I want to start with. I want to start with jumping right in, as I do in all aspects of my life, and telling you all the story behind the name. I'm just tired of the world, and the world being a place that is so caught up on pretenses and everything being fake, phony. Nothing's real. And that's not how I live my life. And I want to establish a platform that allows for others to understand the certainty that any time, in any place, in any situation, you are able to be authentically who you are and to do it from a perspective of being real. This particular podcast will be focused only on that. There will be no individuals that will ever be invited to this podcast, because it's mine and I can be just as pompous as I want to be in having it and saying they will not be a part of this, bringing any phony, fake, ridiculous things to my podcast. It's about realness. It's about authenticity. It's all about ensuring that any advice, any jewels, any nuggets, any amazing things that are shared, that it's always about authentic realness.
Realness.
I'll tell more about the name as the episodes continue. And I don't want to just be talking to you all by myself. I always found that concept of podcasts that are by themselves to be very odd and bizarre. So for me, I have an amazing producer, and his name is Theo. Theo is a member of the world's greatest fraternity as well. And make no mistake about that. It is Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Period. The end. No further discussion. So Theo, I'm going to invite you, brother, onto the line. Theo, you there? And say hello to everyone.
Hello. What's good, brother? Thank you for inviting me in.
Absolutely, my friend. So what I'll be doing with Theo, everyone, is just that as I'm talking and as we're going through this process, he will be here to ask me some questions. He'll be able to chime in. He'll be able to give his perspective. And he will be in all episodes. When I have other guests, he'll be here. When it's just me, he'll be here. He's just here as both the producer to make me sound amazing, to have the sound effects, the music, and all those type things that are a part of the essence of who I am and what it means to be Plush, as well as he brings a wealth of knowledge from so many different aspects of life. But the most important part is that I am beyond pleased that he's a man of God as well. And certainly for me, for those of you who know me, yes, I am spiritual, and I'm religious, and I'm a Christian in every aspect of my life. And to align myself with other like-minded Christians is an amazing thing. All right, so Theo.
Yes, sir.
There, brother.
I am here.
Good deal, good deal. I'm going to throw this question at you. As we started this journey for Aaron R. Plush, consultant and independent contractor, with initially the blog and the amazing production that you did for 15 blogs for 15 weeks, working with my ridiculous self in that perfectionist mindset, in that excellence mindset, in that greatness mindset. How was the experience for you?
The experience is wonderful thus far. Like, what I will say is just thinking back to our initial time of working with each other back in college, where we were working on step shows and things of that nature, where you brought me in to help some of the younger brothers in a step show, a specific step show you were working on. One thing I always say when it comes to working with you is you're going to bring the best of the best out of you. You're not going to just stick to, okay, you sent me something, that's cool, or the first take, that's cool. You're going to dig as deep as possible to get the essence of greatness, as you stated before. Like, it's not going to be something where, oh, we just going to do it and that's it. You're going to dig as much as we can and push as much as you can until the best of the best comes out. And I feel like for me, that's one thing that I can apply to every aspect of my life, because it's easy to just go through the motions when you are skilled at something. But when you work with somebody that's going to keep you accountable, first and foremost, that's going to push you up against the wall when you can't be pushed no more. They're going to look for an inch to push you even further to get the most authentic and the greatest product that you can actually produce. And I can say anybody that works with you or experience being in your presence, they're going to feel that. And the world needs it. The world needs it, because a lot of mediocre things are servicing the earth, especially with the age of social media being so heavily used and utilized day by day. One thing I can say, when it comes to Plush, it won't be mediocre. You're going to get a show in every aspect of it.
I received that, brother. And I definitely can tell you, it's always great to be able to hear that feedback, that I'm literally able to give off that energy that I so yearn for. And I can tell you, Theo, and I can tell the listeners that it's God. And so many people just seem to struggle to understand that. It's like, how is it that in every aspect of your life, you're always acknowledging God? That's my journey. That's my foundation. That's in my entire life. That's all I know. And with that, I just want the world to know that, yes, it works. You can acknowledge God. Yes, you're hanging out. You're at the bar. You can acknowledge God. You don't have to leave him home and say, hey, God, I'm going to pick you up on the way back out.
It don't work like that.
It doesn't work that way at all. In that, thank you for that greatness plug, though, brother. And I didn't even pay you for that. Look at that, God. Look at that segue.
Well, let me ask you this. With
Absolutely.
so many podcasts and so many blogs and things of that nature, why now?
I'd really tell you it's the time of reflection of the past couple of years with the pandemic, because being someone who literally was out every day here in South Florida, living my absolute best life, and then went to primarily being home, which was a good thing. And I didn't even recognize how much I needed that time, because you think about my life. Professionally, I've been on the road as a management consultant for over 10 years, way over my time. And in that, was able to explore Paris and London and Amsterdam and Utrecht and all these amazing and wonderful places, and yet always on the go. From those folks that know me from an early age, my parents who still yet believe that they're 16, the running family joke is we were always on the go. constantly, just doing things. So that's all I've known my entire life. But the pandemic really slowed me down. It provided me an opportunity to reflect. It gave me a moment of really introspection, because I tell people all the time, I'm really as extroverted as people would like to believe that I am. And I am, no mistake about it, but I am an introverted extrovert. Mm-hmm. And what that means in very certain terms is I love me and I love spending my time with me. As much as I love being out and communing and communicating and all those type things with others, I love my me time. Mm-hmm. The pandemic allowed for that opportunity, and the pandemic also provided me with the opportunity to know that a lot of ideas that God had given me years ago, that the time is now. And this podcast happens to be one of those things. So great question, brother. I appreciate the platform to be able to get that out.
So it's needed, man. It's needed, especially with you being a subject area expert on so many things. It's needed, because at the end of the day, you can't take it with you when God calls you. So it's a blessing that you're able to lay it down and kind of create something that I look at as a time capsule, because once we're gone, it's still there.
Agreed. And I tell you, your comment's very timely. I actually, unfortunately, have a high school classmate that just passed away this week. And certainly whenever that happens, it forces all of us, the living, to really reflect on our life affairs, reflect on how are we living, are we doing all those things that God has called us to do. And certainly my prayers goes out to her family. Yet, I see it as an opportunity for my classmates and I to all really look in the mirror and understand that we have a responsibility to allow the life experiences that we had with her to be experiences that we are able to continue to build and grow and develop in our lives. And know that it's so important in this very precious thing that we call life to live it to the fullest.
Most definitely.
All right, brother. So you and I, we could talk for ages, and I am not one that wants to have this long-winded, ridiculous podcast. What is Plush talking about? Yada. Don't want to hear it. In that, I do want to make a very specific plug. So let's be clear. This particular podcast is one that's focused on my entire existence, but it does have a focal point. And the focal point is around those 8 services that I provide as a consultant and independent contractor. In that, though, I'm providing a platform where we can talk about it from an authentic realness perspective. So you look at it as corporate professional Plush and all that he's done, all that he's doing, all that he will do from the vantage point of authentic realness. And then here are those 8 service offerings that are all presented as a service, meaning that all of the services that I provide are subscription-based, and I have clients that have me on a monthly retainer for XYZ services that relate to program and project management, which is literally at the essence of program management being a program, an entity that is more long-term project, typically very specific, a simple item that is centralized to being a one specific thing. Second component is around management consulting, and that's the whole gamut of small businesses, be it a large firm, an artist, a gospel artist, a musician, anyone that potentially may need management services that would fall under the management consulting realm. Operations management, day-to-day operations. You have a business, you want to ensure that you're optimizing how you're operating. I'm your guy for that as well. Contingent labor and workforce management. A significant part of my career has been forced around managing contingent labor. And the great news is I have done it globally, and I understand labor laws around the world. And that's certainly been a significant part of my bread and butter in my professional career. Chief of Staff Services, it's a no-brainer for me. That particular role is one that I'm able to step in and work with any exec to ensure that he or she has all that they need from an orchestration of their team, that vote that they need, that can share anything that's going on with them personally or professionally, and we're able to strategize together to progress them forward as an exec. Supplier diversity management, that's around both sides. Small companies that are defined as diverse companies, if they're looking for avenues of how to best position themselves to work with corporations, as well as corporations that are looking to expand their supply diversity programs and extend their spend, and actually working with diverse suppliers that are reputable and are going to provide amazing services, I'm your guy to make that happen as well. And then the last two, motivational speaking. The funny part is that a large part of that is going to happen in this podcast. I am always about ensuring that any opportunity that I have to open my mouth, that I am breathing life into the situation, that I am letting people know that your best is in you, letting people know that we all get out of life exactly what we put in it. Being spectacular as always, and everyone knows that phrase. It's synonymous with who I am. It's not about the fact that I don't have bad days. It's not about the fact that nothing happens in my life that isn't worth me saying, my God. But the fact of the matter is, I have decided, because of who God is, that regardless of what the situation is, I'm still yet going to be spectacular. It's my life calling to ensure that other people understand that, and that they might be motivated and encouraged to live their best lives, to have a positive outlook, and to just simply be their best selves. And then lastly, voiceover and voice actor work. The harsh reality is one of our fraternity brothers, CEO, Jermaine Britton, amazing brother, one of my favorite nukes in the entire world, just because he's always been just an even keel kind of person who's just always the same, consistently the same. Something the world needs. But Jermaine said to me, and I was the MC at their wedding for him and Katrina, but he said to me, he's like, Plush, you might have one of the clearest voices in his Jermaine Britton voice that I've ever heard. And of course, when he said, like, hey, whatever, it is what it is. And I've done voice work, and I've been an MC, and I was doing these things, which is so funny to you. I've been doing this since like middle school and high school.
Wow.
And it was like, it's funny how those life moments happen, and that light bulb comes on. And when Jermaine said that, that light bulb came on all those years ago to say, like, there is something that God has done special with my voice that nobody else, of all 8 billion of us, nobody else sounds like Aaron Plush. And I now understand that that's a gift. And I understand that it's one that I need to be presenting more to the world. And this podcast provides that opportunity. Doing more motivational speaking provides that opportunity. Doing voiceover work, which is going to just lead to all kinds of things that I'm so excited about and sharing with this group of folks in the coming weeks and months. So those are the 8 service items that comes along with Aaron R. Plush, consultant and independent contractor, not to be mistaken with Aaron R. Plush, the brand, and know that there's a whole lot more coming regarding Aaron R. Plush, the brand, which will provide the opportunity for me to talk more about my creative and social self with the event planning and professional planning and clothing line. And I don't want to give you all too much, but know that there's a lot going on in the world of Aaron Plush right now. But let's get back on target and on task to Aaron R. Plush, consultant and independent contractor. Anything, Theo, that you would call out, ask about the 8 services, or anything else front of mind for you?
I would just tell the audience to stay tuned. Just knowing the things that you have in your mind, just the glimpse you've given me, there's going to be a wealth of knowledge and a dope experience to go along with it. And to piggyback off what you just said when you kind of spoke on Brother Britton, when you really think about the gifts that God has given us, it's a disservice if we don't use them.
That's
so it is definitely a blessing to step into that thing of using your voice. And for the people that don't know Plush, he's a man of many hats. So you never know what you're going to get. So
most of the times I don't know what I'm going to get. So the world certainly will never know what they're going to get. But in that, brother, in all seriousness, thank you for echoing that and certainly calling out Jermaine again. Just great brother. And certainly have to get Jermaine here on this show because Jermaine has a wealth of hidden, quiet talent and skills that more of the world needs to know about. So and that wasn't even on my list until we were going through this conversation. So look at you, God. I love it. Closing, everyone. So this has been a tremendous first episode for me. I am elated to say that I'm roughly around 30 minutes. So look at that. You all won't get tired of hearing from me. And no, I'm excited about this journey. We're starting with just audio, but please know, in true Aaron Plush fashion, yes, you all will be seeing me soon as well when we make that transition over to video. And I can assure you that it will be worth the wait. And yes, I always got to allude to something that Janet has said. So for the world to know, Janet Jackson is my wife. For those that didn't know, you know now. Hopefully she'll even hear this. All right. So in that, I'm going to say it's been a pleasure. I'm excited about where this is going. And it's really one of those ones where my ask is for everyone to remain spectacular and to understand that this life journey is all about remaining positive, about understanding that mindset is everything, and know that whatever any of us ever encounter in this life, God already knew about it. He's already working on it, and you will be okay. And this is not something I heard. This is not something that I read. This is something I've lived. And that, my friends, is the essence of what authentic realness is about. So in that, Theo, I'm going to give you one last second. Any closing words from you before we do what I must do? And that is go to the throne and acknowledge God and all of his greatness and in who he is. So anything else from you?
There is nothing else for me. I think you have set us up perfectly for this experience that we are about to go on. So all I will say is to echo again, stay tuned.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father God, we come before you right now just thanking you, God, for being better to us than we could ever imagine being to ourselves, God. God, certainly this is interesting. I recall at this very moment, God, of being a very young and shy child. that couldn't even imagine doing the Easter speech at church because I don't want to do this. I don't want to stand in front of these people. And here we are, God, at a point where there was no nervousness tonight. The level of preparation was one that was all with you. And for that, God, I say thank you. God, I lift up the world. Because certainly right now, God, we are living in some dark times. And there are some ridiculous things going on in the world that none of us could have fathomed just a couple of years ago. But in that, God, just as I had in my encouragement moment, we're trusting you, God, to know that we are already okay. God, I'm lifting up all the listeners that I know at the time that someone would be listening to this particular podcast, they will be in need of something. And right now, God, I don't know who they are. I don't know them by name, but I'm lifting them up, God, for them to know with certainty that you have them on their mind, on your mind, God. And God, for them to know that all they have to do is to reach out to you, call your name, acknowledge you, ask you, and you're there for us. God, I lift up my family. I lift up Theo's family. I lift up everyone that is truly aligned with this journey of authentic realness. God, I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for the platform. And I thank you, God, for all that you are going to do. So, God, we love you. We adore you. And it's in the glorious and magnificent name of your Son, Jesus, that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Brother, amazing episode 1. Looking forward to the next one. Until next time, that's all, folks.